She imagines a future history spanning more than 2,000 years. This series includes some of the greatest science fiction novels of all time, including The Left Hand of Darkness, where Le Guin raises fascinating questions about the construction of gender and sexuality, The Dispossessed, an ambiguous utopia, which brilliantly explores challenging issues of political theory and organization, and The Word for World is Forest, her great critique of the Vietnam War via her vision of a logging colony and military base established on another planet by colonizers from Earth, and which helped to inspire the movie Avatar. In all of these novels, Le Guin explores difficult questions about cross-cultural contact, as well as the possibilities and problems raised by new technologies, such as the Ansible, the instantaneous communication device that connects denizens of the future scattered among the stars, and which many other writers of science fiction have borrowed in the wake of her coinage of the term. Le Guin once explained how provoking the imagination, not imagining the perfect society, was her true goal in playing with ideas of utopia and alternative realities in these novels. She says, "To me, the important thing is not to offer any specific hope of betterment, but by offering an imagined but persuasive alternative reality to dislodge my mind, and so the reader's mind, from the lazy, timorous habit of thinking that the way we live now is the only way people can live. It is that inertia that allows the institutions of injustice to continue unquestioned." Le Guin is also famous for her young adult novels, which crossed over to the adult market long before the Harry Potter novels became a similar crossover phenomenon. In her great Earth-Sea series of stories and novels, published between the 1960s and 2001, she created a rich fantasy world that has stimulated the imaginations of millions of readers. This richly imagined world began as a simple drawing of a map that became much more. Le Guin recalls, "One of the first things I did was draw the map, which is the map of Earthsea that's in the books now. I just named the islands. That was fun. I just irresponsibly gave all the islands names. I didn't know what happened on them or who lived on them or anything at that point, but there they were. There was my world to play with." She has also written a host of other young adult and children's books and has won several awards for her contributions to this field, including the Margaret E. Edwards Award for Children's Literature. In explaining why they gave this award to Le Guin, the panel said that she has inspired 4 generations of young adults to read beautifully constructed language, visit fantasy worlds that inform them about their own lives, and think about ideas that are neither easy nor inconsequential. She also inspires readers to think hard about ideas that are neither easy nor inconsequential and other writings that are harder to classify, such as The Lathe of Heaven, about a man whose dreams create new realities, many of them nightmarish, or Always Coming Home, another text with a richly imagined world, this one inhabited by the Kesh people, who live in a far future Northern California, and whose culture recalls those of the California Indians Le Guin's famous anthropologist father, Arthur Kroeber, studied. Or Lavinia, a kind of alternate history of the founding of Rome, written from the perspective of Aeneas's wife, who is given no lines in Virgil's epic poem. Le Guin has also written over 100 influential short stories, such as The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, a parable about the cost of the good life, about a utopian city in which a small child is imprisoned in a cellar as the sacrifice necessary for the happiness of its population. Did I mention poetry? She has published several volumes of it. And critical essays? She has won awards for that too, along with the National Book Award, 5 Hugo Awards, 5 Nebula Awards, the Kafka Prize, a Pushcart Prize, the Harold D. Versailles Award of the American Academy and Institute of Arts and Letters, 19 Locus Awards, and many more. Le Guin writes about the imagination quite often in her nonfiction essays, fiercely defending it against its reduction to business vocabularies of profit-making. She says, "In the marketplace, the word creativity has come to me in the generation of ideas applicable to practical strategies to make larger profits. This reduction has gone on so long that the word creative can hardly be degraded further. I don't use it anymore, yielding it to capitalists and academics to abuse as they like, but they can't have imagination. Imagination is not a means of making money. It has no place in the vocabulary of profit-making. It is not a weapon." Clarifying her own very different investments in the imagination, Le Guin writes, "The exercise of the imagination is dangerous to those who profit from the way things are because it has the power to show that the way things are is not permanent, not universal, not necessary. We will not know our own injustice if we cannot imagine justice. We will not be free if we cannot imagine freedom." Ursula K. Le Guin has done heroic work in helping us to imagine freedom and justice, and in teaching us that the exercise of the imagination is the greatest tool we have in changing our world for the better. She is the most appropriate Impact of the Imagination on Society Award recipient that I can imagine, and it is an honor for me to share her story. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for coming. I know better than to stand between people at 8 o'clock at night and food and drink. I'll leave you with one thought. I hope the things you've seen here tonight are inspirational and interesting. At the opening of the center in San Diego, Tedson Myers coined another quote very much in the traditions of Arthur C. Clarke, "Science forges fiction into function." And so that's one thing we're trying to do there, and we're trying to do here as well with these awards. Before I get off the podium, I would like to thank someone who's standing there now, Monica Morgan, our executive director, and who has not taken the stage because she has made sure that everything runs. And without Monica, nothing you've seen here tonight would have come together, would have been something that would have been enjoyable and certainly would not have stayed on schedule. Please enjoy, tell your friends, come back. We have work to do, and we hope to see you all back next year with a lot more excitement up here. Good night.